Record. And like I said, I just kind of wanted to do a team Zoom about kind of like what are your goals and how successful people achieve their goals. And one of my favorite speakers of all time, and it's on my dream board to go see him and go to one of his events, is Tony Robbins. Have any of you heard of Tony Robbins before? He is incredible, and he's kind of been doing what he's been doing for a long time, like 25 years or something like that. But I found one of the videos of like one of the very first events he ever did, and it's really clear and concise, and it's simply named The Ultimate Success Formula. And when I was listening to it today, because I am a big proponent of like self-development, always listening to things to like grow myself, like personally, spiritually, like whatever it is. And today I was just I just typed in his name because one of my go-tos, and I came across this video and I was like, this would be perfect. So I kind of wanted to watch like the beginning part of it where he kind of breaks down like the 5 steps that successful people do and kind of apply it to our business, and then kind of talk about that and then answer any questions that you guys have about anything then afterwards. Does that sound?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So I will need your help. I always get nervous that my share screen isn't working. So just keep me, like say yes or no or whatever. Can you see my screen? Like
yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see the website now? That's Unleash the Power Within. Can you see that?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And can you see it now in full screen?
Can I see it now?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Good. All right, cool.
Can I
So
see
we'll
it
go ahead
now?
and get started then. If you wouldn't mind muting yourselves just so that everybody can hear this well. And we're not going to watch the whole thing. We're just going to watch like the beginning part of it and then chat. Sound good? All right. Here we go.
Ultimate success formula. What this is based upon is something very fundamental. And that is that people who succeed in any situation have a pattern of what they do to succeed. And it doesn't matter whether that person is succeeding in a business context or in a relationship context. It doesn't matter what the environment is. The fundamental lessons or laws for succeeding are very, very basic. So if we're looking for the ultimate success formula, the very first thing we have is you'd have to know what you want, which we call know your outcome. If you're going to succeed at anything, it's hard to succeed, hard to hit a target when you don't know what it is. And as simplistic as this sounds, do most people really know what they want? What do you think? Yes or no? At least not consciously, they don't, right? And so it's going to be very, very difficult to achieve what you want when you haven't defined it. But this is going to become a question we're going to want you to ask yourself a lot. What is my outcome in this situation? I even have a time management system that I developed. It's really a life management system, which we call OPA, because the first O stands for what's my outcome? Because you can come up with a question like, what should I do? And you're going to end up with a long list. But as you do all these things, what will happen is you can cross something off your list and still be unfulfilled and not really achieve anything that matters. So you say, what's my outcome first? Then you begin to decide what you need to do to get the outcome. So in this case, we want to say, what's your outcome? You want to make it a habit to ask this question a lot. You're in the middle of a conversation. Stop yourself if it seems to be going nowhere and say, what's my outcome here? Do I want to connect? Do I want to influence this person? Do I want to learn something? What's your outcome? For example, how many of you have ever been caught up in an argument and you even forgot what you're arguing for, but you knew you had to win? How many been there? Say aye. Okay, if in the middle of that argument you were to ask yourself the question, what's my outcome here? I guarantee you your brain would say, well, my outcome is not to fight, my outcome is to resolve this. And as you get clear on what your real target is, your behavior will change automatically. So very, very few people know what they want. And the more clear you can get about what you want, the more you can really achieve. So you might write underneath this is the subset of number one, still number one. Just write clarity is power. Clarity is power. The more clear you can become about what it is you really want, the more power you're going to have. Because your brain is like a servo mechanism in a bomb, as an example. When they send a missile out, It has a servo mechanism. It knows what the target is. And when the target moves, it follows it. Well, your brain is very similar. When you decide exactly what it is you want, you start picking up information that you never would have picked up before consciously. For example, have you ever bought a particular car maybe, or maybe a certain outfit, and then all of a sudden you see that car or outfit everywhere? How many have had that experience? Say aye. Well, was that car outfit already around you all the time? Yeah, but you didn't notice it because there's a portion of your brain that is responsible for one thing, and that is screening out 99% of what you see, hear, and feel in life. Because if you were to notice everything that's going on in this room right now, you go stark raving mad. But most of you don't. You pay attention to a small number of things. If you could right now notice what? Millions of things. You could notice my voice. You could listen to what I'm saying. You could notice what's going on in the background, the screens. You could hear the air conditioning. You could smell your neighbor off to all that jumping up and down. Notice that. Right? You could feel maybe a little sweat trickling across your chest or whatever was going on after all that jumping up and down. You could feel the blood maybe vibrating or circulating through your left eardrum, but you don't think about those things. So maybe I mention them or something triggers it. So this part of our brain that's responsible for deleting most of our thoughts and most of the things that are going on around us, that part of our brain, when it knows what you want, it makes you notice those things. You suddenly see that car because it's important. It's called the reticular activating system. You don't have to write all that down. For short, it's called RAS. The reticular activating system tells your brain what to pay attention to. So when you say, this is what I really want, now anything that relates to that you wouldn't have noticed before will start popping up into your focus. And a lot of times people say, it's amazing. I decided this and it was kind of synchronicity. These things started popping up. Well, these things were probably around you before, but you never noticed them because you hadn't decided your outcome. Now, when you know your outcome, you're ahead of 95% of the population. But that's not enough. The second thing you gotta know is a lot of times you know your outcome, but you lose your drive. You want something, but you forget the most important thing, which is know why you want it. Know why you want it. You gotta know the purpose. In our OPA training system, when people are managing their lives, we have them ask, what's my outcome? And then why do I want this? Because any person successful, really successful, knows exactly what they want and they know why. The reason you gotta know why is, remember I said yesterday, reasons come first, answers come second. If you get enough reasons, you can get a big enough why, you can figure out how to do about anything, but you gotta have purpose because purpose provides drive. Now, if you know what you want and you know why, you're light years ahead of most of the population, but you gotta go the step that most people seem to avoid, and that is you gotta take massive what? That's right, and the key word there is massive. Massive action can be a cure-all when you know what you're after, and you know why you want it. Because when you know what you're after, when you take action, you won't just be expending energy. You'll be moving yourself in a direction towards something you really, really want. And by the way, last night we called taking massive action personal what? Power, which means the ability to take action. And what stops people from taking action? Primarily what? Fear. And the way you get over that fear is, what do you think is the number one fear most people have? Failure. And the reason is they feel if they fail, they won't be loved. They'll be rejected. They'll be hurt. They'll be judged. So what they really are afraid of is losing love. And they think that this rejection, or I should say this failure, will lead to that rejection or loss of love. The truth of the matter is you can't fail unless you don't try. If you try something that doesn't work, you just learn from it, and that'll make you better the next time you go about it. Now, if you know your outcome, know why you want it, and take massive action, you're now in the most small percentile of people on the planet. So what's the next step, though? Well, you can take a lot of action and get caught up in a pattern. Like become so determined that you became like tunnel vision, like, I know this is going to work. And so you keep running east looking for a sunset with total certainty, a lot of belief, high standards, still doesn't work. So what you have to be able to do to succeed so you don't get caught up in some old pattern is you got to know what you're getting. Know what you are, know what you're getting. The word we use for this, as for short, is we call it sensory acuity. Sensory acuity is the idea that you want to become acutely sensitive to whether what you're doing is working or not. You don't want to just say, okay, I know what I want, and I'm just going to make it happen. This is how I'm going to do it. You keep hammering it, doing something that doesn't work. And people do this all the time, right? Do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That's called insanity. You can't do the same thing again and again, expect a different result when you can see it doesn't get the result. But we get caught up in our patterns. So we want to get really sensitized, acutely sensitized, sensory acuity, to whether what we're doing is working or not. And by the way, sensory acuity is really the measure of a person's intelligence. What I mean by that is, how do we measure intelligence? Intelligence is a measure of the number and quality of distinctions you have in a given situation. Like, for example, if you talk to Eskimos, that's actually not the politically correct term anymore. I guess it's Inouye. You talk to an Inouye, what we formerly called Eskimos, you'd find out that Inouye have more than a dozen words for the word snow. More than a dozen. Now, I'm from Southern California. Guess how many words I have for snow? One. I don't see any of it. It's called snow, baby. Right? But they got to know what kind of snow. They got to make more refined distinctions to be effective in the world, to get their outcomes. They got to know what kind of snow you can build an igloo out of, what kind of snow you can take your dogs through, what kind of snow you can eat, right? What kind of snow you're going to fall through. So who has more intelligence, who has more power in that snowy environment? The Eskimo or me? Which one? Eskimo, because they have more sensory acuity. They have more refined distinctions about what each of these elements mean versus I just see it as snow. Now, if you took that Eskimo and you stuck him in my car in Los Angeles, then we'd find out that maybe I have a little more intelligence because he might try to steer the thing using the rearview mirror. Right? He just doesn't know. So since he doesn't have that acuity, he doesn't have those distinctions, he wouldn't do terribly well there. See, some people I could hold this up and I could say, what is this? And they'd say, well, it's a cylinder. Other people say, no, that's a blue, white, and black cylinder. Someone else says, no, that's a blue color marker. A few people say, no, that's not just a blue color marker. That is a Pilot super color, bright and wide color marker. And if you get it in your clothes, it'll never come out. Now, which one of those people has more power? 1, 2, 3, or 4? 4, because they have the largest number of distinctions. So now, if you know your outcome, you know why you want it. You got your purpose. You got your drive. You got your A, an OPA. This is outcome, purpose, action. You know the massive action. You're taking action, and you notice if it's working. What happens if you notice it's not working? You're taking action, but it's not getting you closer to your outcome. What's the obvious fifth step? The fifth step is change your approach. Change your approach. If what you're doing, your acuity says is not working, change it. Now, what if you change your approach and that's still not working? Then what would you do? What would you do? Come on, what would you do? Change it again. Keep yourself in a peak state. Sit up in your chair. Some of you have gone back into that deep hypnotic state of learning, I can see. And what if you tried that and it didn't work? Then what would you do? What if that doesn't work? What do you do? And what if that doesn't work? What do you do? What if that doesn't work? What do you do? What if after all that it still doesn't work? What do you do? And what if you try that and it doesn't work? How many times? Until you find out what works. Do not say to yourself, I've tried everything. That's bull. If you tried everything, you'd have what you want. Well, I haven't tried everything, but I've tried millions of things. Millions? Number them, name them. Well, maybe tens of thousands. Tens of thousands? Name 1,000. Well, maybe 100. Name 100. Well, maybe I did these 2 things over and over again that don't work. Okay? But when we start saying, I've tried everything, we tend to incant that, don't we? We make it an incantation, and then we believe it. And since we think we've tried everything, we just give up. It's garbage, not true. Hey, let me ask you a question. How long would you give your average baby to learn how to walk? You know, before you shut them off and didn't let them try anymore. You know, what are you, crazy? My kid's going to keep trying until he or she walks. Ah, magic formula. When almost everything in the whole world walks. Okay? So this is the ultimate success formula. It comes down to knowing what you want, why you want it, taking massive action, know if it's working, and simply changing your approach until you get it. That's it. Anyone who succeeds does this. They may not call it Robbins' ultimate success formula, but I guarantee they did it. I mean, corny example, Thomas Edison, these lights in here. Did this guy know his outcome, yes or no? Yes or no? He was absolutely clear. Without knowing the outcome, he couldn't have built that in a million years. It didn't exist before. He had to decide he wanted to create this result without the use of candles. Did he know why he wanted to do it? You bet. You read his writings, this man had a sense of incredible purpose and drive. Did he take massive action, yes or no? Oh, yes. Tens of thousands of experiments. Did he notice when it wasn't working and learn from it, yes or no? Did he keep changing his approach? That's why right now in this room we don't smell candlelight, right? Now, if you know the old story of him, it was written about him in his early days. He says he's got his best friend with him. He's doing this experiment, and as he's doing it, he creates a small explosion, which shakes the room, scares both of them very, very severely. And then at the end of that, he gets up, and his friend is totally shaken, freaked out. He pulls out his journal, and he starts writing. And his buddy says to him, "What's the matter with you? Insane, you almost killed us. So you're going to wait till you have 10,000 failures before you give this stupid idea up?" And Edison's response to him was, I didn't have a failure there. He goes, that's your 9,999th failure. He said, no, it's not. He said, I discovered the 9,999th way not to invent the electric light bulb. But I did discover how to create a small explosion, which may be useful in the future somewhere else. Interesting, right? Because he understood what this process was. Hey, did Bruce Springsteen use this? Do you think he just walked?
Okay. Get out of this here. Back to my Zoom. Are you guys still there? There you are. Okay, stop share. Here we go. Oh, hi, Tara. You hopped on. Okay, so I just wanted to go over that and share that with you guys for a couple of reasons. I think it's super important, and there is a reason why when corporate came out with this newbie checklist, the very first thing you see on there is your why and figuring out what your why is, okay? And I like this because it broke it down and it made it a lot more understandable than just the why. Okay, so when I'm looking at this, the first thing is, what do you want your outcome to be? Okay, when you're thinking of that's like your dream board, if you haven't made one yet, like that's what your outcome, what do you want that to be and why do you want that? Okay, so I think that's super important when you're starting this business, because there are going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days. And the one thing that's going to keep you moving and keep you moving in the right direction is not only knowing what the outcome is that you want, but knowing why you want it. And the one place where I see, and like he said, that people fall short is that third step, is taking massive action. A lot of people dream. A lot of people have grand ideas for what they want and they know why they want it. But at the end of the day, are you willing, is it enough to make you want to cry? Like, is it enough to make you want to work and do whatever it takes and hear 10 no's to push past that, to chase after that dream? That's kind of where you see the distinction between people who are successful and people who just want it to happen, right? People who are successful know what they want, know why they want it, and they take massive action to get it and to make it reality, okay? One of the things that he always says, like especially in other things that I hear, is people always think about the lack of resources that they have, right? But that's not the case. Usually when people fail, it's not a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness. One thing about this company is you are never going to be without resources. There are always YouTube videos, trainings every week on team calls. There's motivation, there's your teammates reaching out, there's our team pages. There's definitely not a lack of resources. Okay, the resources are there. It's how resourceful are you in finding the information, in reaching out to people, even when you have questions. So taking the action, more than just messaging people, but like finding the answers and continuing to improve by just listening to podcasts or listening to trainings or whatever it is. That's part of it, you guys. Like, especially all these trainings, if you go on YouTube, you can type in one of the top 10 income earners and they will give you all of their tips and you could just watch it for days. But it's not just about wanting it. It's about taking the action and implementing it and using it and utilizing it. So, then knowing what you're getting as you're doing this and you're going through and you're, messaging people, posting what's working, what's not working. At first it's kind of hard to tell, just because, at first when you're first getting started and you're a new distributor, a lot of times people are just kind of like hanging out and watching you for a while just to see how into it you are before they start reaching out and all that stuff. But after a while, you'll kind of get an idea for what are the posts that people are actually messaging me about. What is the post that I just did that made this person want to sign up as a loyal customer, or that reached out to me as a distributor? What is it? And one of the good ways of doing that, something that I have always taught my team is, when you're looking for material to post online, first of all, follow some of our top leaders. I will put in the comments of our little thread that we have for this Zoom, a couple of top leaders to follow on Facebook. Go through, follow them, and just start scrolling your own Facebook. What are the posts that make you stop? Like, it's always usually a picture. It makes you stop and it makes you read what the text says, okay? Is it just a picture of this random bottle of water? Is that going to make you stop? Maybe. Is it a picture of a person that looks really excited? Is it just a really scenic photo? What is it that makes you stop and want to read the caption? Because those are the types of things that are going to make other people want to stop as well. So you have to understand what you're getting. So that's the 4th step. So first step, know what you want, know why you want it. 3, take massive action, know what you're getting. And if you're not getting what you want, or if you're not getting the responses you want, be willing to change your approach, okay? Look at it and say, what's not working? Where can I improve? And if you aren't sure, reach out to an upline, reach out to myself. I can kind of take a look at your timeline and see kind of what types of posts you're doing and kind of help you refine there. And B, screenshot a couple of messages and I'd be able to help you with wording or any of that. That's the beauty of this, is like you're in business for yourself, but you're definitely not by yourself. And I always say that just so you understand that. Like there are people here and the resources are here to help you, fine tune till you're like up and running, And the last thing that I kind of wanted to talk about that really kind of hit home for me was when he was talking about one of the main reasons why people don't take massive action. Usually it's because they're afraid. Okay. That I was afraid. I still am, but I know that when I first started, before I had even hit Ruby, I joined a small group, and we would meet up online or in a coffee shop or whatever, like once a week. And one week our topic was, what is your fear? And everybody had a different one. But at the end of the day, it came down to being afraid of failure, right? Because nobody wants to start something and feel like they failed, right? And here's the beauty of it. Looking back on the last 4 years, I realized I have failed, but I have failed my way forward every single time. I may have word vomited all over a potential and she decided not to sign, but guess what? I learned, I may have bombed a party once or twice, but guess what? I learned, okay? I may have not understood charts or whatever it is, but you learn, okay? You don't have to know everything to get started. You just have to know what you want and why you want it and take massive action and go for it. There is no such thing as failure unless you don't even try. That is the ultimate failure, just not even trying. So just fail your way forward and fail your way to the top. And that's kind of in a gist about what I have to say for you guys. Does anybody have any questions on any of that? Did you like it?
Yeah.
Good. I love Tony Robbins. So if you are out, you like it too?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're looking for like inspirational videos, Tony Robbins is definitely one to go to. He's got lots on just like the way you think about things, not just business, but like personal. And that's one person that I always go to. There's like tons of podcasts out there, inspirational videos on YouTube, all kinds of trainings. I'm not a big book reader, but I do download Audible, which is like the recorded books, book on tape kind of thing. And I'll listen to that when I'm driving in the car because I just don't have quiet time to sit down and read a book, but that works for me. Just little things like that. I think self-improvement is always so important to be able to you can't give it your all unless you're filling yourself back up. Otherwise you get drained and you get drained real quick. And so it's really important to have that self-development aspect, that if there's one thing that even our top money earner, now Vice President of Field Development, Cami Dempsey Pentecost, she says, the number one thing you can do for your business is do personal development every day, whether it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That's the number one thing you can do for yourself, is pour back into yourself. Because it is so important to like fill yourself up so that you have more to give. And plus it kind of lights the fire again. It kind of gets you excited and motivated. And whenever I'm feeling kind of like, I haven't had a customer in a couple of weeks or whatever, like, nobody's liking anything. I just, nope, get out of it. It's mindset. You just got to go do it. So I always listen to a quick 10-minute, 20-minute thing and then take on the day. So that's my tips for you guys for right now. What kind of questions do you guys have for me? I know that there's going to be some good ones. Or lots of them. And I'm sure if you have them, somebody else has them.
Does anybody have anything that's working with the free defining gel so far? Do you have any posts or anything?
So I did one, so I've done a couple of posts today about it. But one thing that I was talking to Mackenzie about, a live video, just sitting down and explaining it. This is the wrap. This is the wrap. This is what the wrap does. This is the defining gel. This is what the defining gel does. And basically when you're saying it, all it is you've got the solution on the wrap that helps you tone, tighten, and firm loose skin and cellulite in 45 minutes. And then you have the defining gel, which is the same solution that you have on the wraps, but it's diluted for everyday use. You can use it from your head to toe. And then, just kind of talk about that. I like to say how, it's like peanut butter and jelly both make a good sandwich on their own, but when you put them together, it's magic. And that's why this deal is so good, because you put them together, they're a sister product. They're meant to they're great together. So videos are always very, very good. Very, very good. Plus, whenever you go live, and I know it's really scary, I'm looking at, I am afraid to go live. I'm going to throw it out there. That is one of my fears, but I'm going to do it. Okay? I was just talking to her about tonight. But when you go live, everyone on your friends list gets a little notification. Everyone. So you don't have to worry about the Facebook algorithm and how only certain percentage of your friends actually see your post and all that stuff, because Facebook's really sneaky that way. They show your stuff to the people who comment on it the most or that you follow the most or whatever. But whenever you go live, everybody on your Facebook friends list gets a little notification saying that you are live, and they can click on it and watch it. So, and it doesn't have to be a 20-minute thing, seriously, a 2 minutes. Guys, it's free. So exciting. Message me for details. Excitement sells.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that would be my biggest. And I am officially challenging you all to do a live video by tomorrow night about it. Okay? And I will do it too. Seriously, live videos scare the crap out of me. Bad. Really bad. But I'll do it. If I'm challenging you to do it, I'm going to do it, dang it. Look at Tara's.
Try.
You can do it. Any other questions for you guys?
For the Mandair stuff,
Mandair.
is that, we can't get the packages for Mandair. They have to become distributors to get the packages for Mandair?
No. The Mandair pack, so how it works is it's just a pack that one of our regular the system, right? It's a pack.
Mm-hmm.
Loyal customers can buy the Man or the Legend pack, or distributors can too. So here's the deal. So if a guy distributor wants to take the Mandair, then they first have to be a distributor, and then they have to order a pack. To order the pack, you're officially in the Mandair. Okay.
Okay.
Now that distributor's goal is to enroll loyal customers who purchase the Man, the Myth, or the Legend, the stack, one of the stacks, as a loyal customer. And then if they are looking to build a team, enroll a male distributor who purchases one of the stacks. Does that make sense? So it's available for both distributors and loyal customers. As far as if they're available to women, I don't know. I don't know for sure if they're available to women or not.
Well, it's not like I want it, but I mean, it's like a tool to try and help get like a male distributor,
Right.
possibly as well, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. And there's really good incentives. And I think it's just more to make it more male accessible, you know, like give a male presence to the company where there wasn't a big one before. You know, everything's like really, you know, feminine, like the marketing materials and that sort of thing. And that's kind of why they launch this out. So one of the big perks for signing up a male distributor for them is that when they join the team and purchase a stack, one of the man, the myth, or the legend, and they start to like grow their team, they can earn entries towards that Jeep that's for men only, and they can get invited to the ranch. So to be invited to the ranch, they just have to get 3 male distributors who purchase one of the stacks and 4 male customers who purchase one of the stacks. And then they get an automatic invite to Pentecost Ranch, which I'm really jealous of because that looks like so much fun. And then for the entries for the Jeep, they get an entry for every male distributor that they sign who gets 4 male customers. Within each of the customers has to order the stack. Does that kind of make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So there's incentive for them. And really, I really think that the odds for that Jeep are going to be really good for the guys that get the entries because it's only USA and Canada that rolled out. And it's just guys. So there won't be as many pushing for it.
So did your husband sign up for the Man Dare then?
He did not sign up for the Man Dare, but he's doing like the challenges and stuff. He just doesn't work the business, so.
Right, yeah. You'd be working it for him, and yeah, so.
Yeah, and for us, like with, because I get leadership bonuses for every distributor that I sign, I can earn extra. Well, he's not at a leadership level yet, so if he's actually the enroller, then we lose out on those bonuses. So if he's not actually going to be working for it, it doesn't make sense for him to like be the enroller for distributors and stuff. So
right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
What other questions do you guys have?
I actually kind of wish they would do a woman dare because I love watching the challenges.
I know. Did you see Pam's post the other day? She had one of the Instagram Snapchat filters on, and it was the one that makes you look like a man. She's like, come on, ladies, what's with all these men? Let's plank. And I was like, so she was like calling.
That's hilarious.
Where do I go to find the Man Dares, like results and things like that?
I'm not sure about results, but I bet you if you went to the Facebook page, I think it's just the Man Dare Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they have results on there yet or not. They might.
But like some of the posts and things.
Yeah. But yeah, the Man Dare has a Facebook page, so I would definitely check that out first. They have a website as well. So maybe check that out as well. But I bet you the Facebook page is going to be your best bet.
The best? Okay.
Yeah, even just like searching a hashtag Man Dare.
Mm-hmm.
Might be able to find some good post ideas by doing that too.
I follow Joel Dunn.
Joel Dunn, yeah.
And I will share his posts, or I will take his picture and reword his post like I'm trying to attract men to sign up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. So, yeah.
Follow Joel Dunn. He's a really good one.
Okay.
And he's a good one too to like if you're looking for some good inspirational stuff. He is an amazing speaker, and he is top money earner. Him and Stephanie Dunn are number 1 income earners at this company, and every his words are like hit you. They hit you good.
Okay.
He did a really good one at conference not last year, the year before, about failing your way to the top, which is kind of where I got some of that, you know, motivation from, inspiration from, is failing your way forward. So definitely like check him out too. They're good. The Duns are amazing. What else you guys got for me? Ooh, I had a good post about, I don't know if you saw, I posted it in the team page, but offer it, like I said, looking for 50 people to do Fat Fighters for free or whatever. And I had 38 people comment on my post saying that they wanted to do it. And so I messaged each one of them just saying, you know, hey, thanks for responding to my post. I'm super excited to offer this to you. I'm looking to, you know, expand my market or my network of people and do some sample events where I can sample product out. If you would have 4 to 6 friends together, I'd get you Fat Fighters as a thank you for me. So you can do it with like Fat Fighters or a body wrap if you have your starter kit in, or whatever you wanted, really. That's a good way to do it. Or even just making a list of 10 people and like calling them up and be like, listen, I really want to get this off to a good start. I'm nervous to do a party, but I think I'd be more comfortable if I did it in front of people that like I know and I trusted. Would you be willing to do me a favor and have a couple friends over so I can just practice and just kind of do that? And I bet you like you'd have people willing to do parties for you. And that's, you know, that's part of about changing your approach. When I messaged Mackenzie, when I very first signed up, I told her I probably wouldn't post on Facebook very much. Because I was afraid, right? I probably won't post on Facebook very much, and I don't really do parties. That's not my thing, right? So that's what I told her. And I told her I won't do a launch party. Well, a couple weeks later, I realized, no, I need to do a launch party. After I did my launch party, I set up 2 parties, and my first 2 parties, I walked away with 4 loyal customers and a distributor from each. And so I was like, okay. So it's all about changing your approach. What's not working? What do you need to try? Do you need to get out there and blitz people? Even if you're afraid to do it, like sometimes you just have to like grow and step out of your comfort zone. Try different things because you never really know what's going to be your niche. And like for me, parties are my thing. Like I love parties now, but I was afraid of them at first, right? But just gotta kind of throw yourself out there a little bit. Any other questions? Anything?
That new sampler packet that you can get till the end of the month, where is that at on the website? Or where do I go to get it?
I will check that out because I haven't looked on the website to find it yet.
Okay.
I will ask. And I wonder if it's only available for new distributors when they sign up. Because I know that some of the, like the mini booster is only available when you actually sign up. But you could do the big party booster anytime. I have a feeling that the sampler pack might just be an add-on for when you actually sign up.
Yeah.
So that's
Gotcha.
what the initial thought is on that, but I will double check that.
Okay.
Sound good. Anything else?
I don't know about the rest of you guys, but do you have any pointers or thoughts as to how to just start? How do you really approach someone as far as letting them know about the product? Sometimes I feel very awkward in my words, and I'm not sure if I'm really getting the gist of what I need to tell them.
Right.
Any thoughts on that? Or
My biggest thing would be get out of your own head. You know, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. So when you're speaking to them, all you can do is just let them know about what you have. Don't overdo it. Don't like bombard with tons of information. Just like, you know, hey, you know, we've got I didn't know, had you seen what I'm doing these days? Or I don't know, it just depending on how the conversation kind of like naturally goes or whatever. But, you know, we've got products for skincare, weight loss, stress relief, hair growth. Would anything like that interest you? And just, you know, super simple, just like, here's a couple of like 3 or 4 options. Any of that interests you? And usually it's weight loss. Okay, great. Here's 4 products I would suggest. I usually always suggest the 4 products in the system. So the cleanse, the thermo, the greens, and the wraps. And I say, or you can get them all together and save extra money. You can use them individually, or you can get them all together. What do you want to start with? And I always like, when I'm talking to somebody, I always kind of end in a question so that they're kind of led to answer. And yeah, just don't overload them with options. Just kind of, this is what it is, and just kind of let them ask the questions. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But don't worry too much about what you're saying, and if what you're saying is because you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Either they are going to want it or they are not. And no matter how good you make it sound, if they just don't need it right now, or they don't want it right now, they're just not going to order. And if they really want it, no matter how bad you flub up, you're still going to want it. You know, so don't worry too much. Don't overthink too much, because when you try to be perfect, you kind of freeze in fear. And I noticed that more and more as I go. Like when I started, I knew nothing, and I just talked to everybody I could about whatever. And as I kind of started getting into the business a little bit more, then I was like, oh, well, now I'm in it. Now I need to know more. Now I need to like word things correctly and da 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 da. And what I found is when I'm trying to be perfect, I procrastinate, or I just don't do it. So the key is to just ask. And that's all I got.
Well, this video was very helpful.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did.
It kind of breaks it down into like understandable, like 5 sections, like super easy to understand and like kind of follow. So
Right.
Know what you want, know why you want it, take massive action, understand what's coming from what you're doing, and if you need to change what you're doing or not.
Right.
And I love, okay, so did anybody relate to this? When he was talking about when you get a new car, you notice the new car.
Yeah.
Does anybody else, once you signed up, start seeing black and green things and you're like, oh, I need that? As soon as I signed up for it,
I just
black
I just bought a headband that's black and green.
It's so funny. I noticed that stuff everywhere. There was a dress in the gas station the other day, and I was like this close to buying it because it was black and green. I don't need it. So yeah, all right, ladies. Well, I have this recorded. I will upload it. It probably won't be loaded until tomorrow. But on that thread that I posted about yesterday doing this, or today doing this, I don't know. I'll put some names of people to follow on Facebook, just so you can kind of start looking at what they have or what they post, seeing what captures your eye, so that you know what's kind of going to capture other people's eyes as well. So,
can I just reiterate something?
yes.
If somebody shows an interest, follow up every freaking day. I lost 2 distributors because of this $10 deal, because somebody else got to them before I did. And I had been talking to them, and they went to with somebody else because somebody else asked them when the kits were $10. Yes. Somebody else got to them that week before I could.
There's a statistic out there that says it takes on average a person. Oh, what is it now? I'm gonna say the wrong number. I think it's like 8 or.
Yeah, it's 7 or 8. I think
8 contacts before. That's on average of following up with them before they make a purchase or whatever. So and it could start with a, oh, not right now, or, oh, I don't have the money in a second, or whatever it is, but continuously following up, because I've had a lot of distributors fall through my fingers too, people I had been talking to a year or so ago that signed with somebody else.
Yep. And I'm happy for them because they get to go on the journey, and I'm really happy for them. I just wish I was the one that brought them.
Yeah.
Fortune is in the follow-up. So always keep a list of people that have ever expressed interest, even if they go silent, because you'll want to follow up with them again a couple of times. Even if it's like blue message, keep messaging them, but you don't get anything back. Doesn't mean they're not reading it. Trust me. I know this. Cool beans. All right. I love that, Tara. Thank you for sharing.
Welcome. Learn from my mistakes.
We all make that mistake. But it's so true when they say fortune is in the follow-up, for sure. All right, ladies. Well, I will post those names of people to follow in that thread, and I will get this video posted, and I hope you all have an awesome night.
Okay. Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for
Bye.
coming.